Okay. Hello everyone and welcome to today's episode of Why Not series episode 12. We're very happy to connect with you all on this wonderful Saturday evening. So this session is essentially a sequel to episode 8 of Why Not series. In this period of uncertainty, especially with the COVID-19 pandemic disturbing of all process, the onus is on students and professionals, architect of India's future, to strive to create the better tomorrow for us all. Okay, one of the biggest buzzword in India, especially during the pandemic times, in self-dependence. India is already blessed with the power of youth. So we currently have the largest demography of youngsters in the world with the knowledge and hard worker and innovative and the dedication. We have the potential to propel our country into the biggest economical powerhouse of the world in the next decade. Okay, so today's guest speaker is not new to our Why Not series. Due to popular demand, he has agreed to give another session as a follow-up of episode 8. A quick introduction about him for the new people. Mr. Muthu Panneerselvam is a serial entrepreneur, innovator, and educator. After working for over 2 decades across the globe, he is currently based in Australia and is a director of C21 Knowledge as well as the advisory board member and technical consultant for ETA purification. Melbourne, Australia. He is in Melbourne, Australia. He has acted as an industrial consultant for over 2,000 companies across the globe. So he is also a best-selling author of books of fintech, including one on blockchain and cryptocurrencies. So without further ado, I don't want to take much more time. Sir, you kickstart your session.
Thank you.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Ariel. Thank you. Can I share my screen?
Yeah, sure, definitely, sir.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir. Your
Yes,
screen
sir.
is
Yes,
visible.
yeah.
Thank you.
Visible only, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ariel. Thank you, Morganandam, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for being here. I'm very delighted to present this second topic, which is part number 2, innovation and how to create a better tomorrow. Welcome, everyone. First of all, part 1, I have discussed the very basics from a wall clock to $1 million facility, learn the basics on how to have a strong foundation and know your value proposition and globalized world and volunteering. So this is something which I covered in part number 1 on 1st of August. Part number 2, as Mr. Ariel has discussed, is a sequel. So I'd like to give the how I did a few of the projects, and that will hopefully help most of you or all of you when you apply in your real-time situation. So in part 2, I will cover innovation and how to create a better tomorrow, how to find your value proposition, so how I did for myself, and the value of mentors and mentee, and the future opportunities and global economy, where the industries are heading, and the types of different intelligence in the human and artificial intelligence, and how to implement and take a vision, in particular the vision board, and the technology, how it is going to drive in the future, because the future looks very brighter and very hopeful. And I will share some examples also, and I will also share some thoughts on future webinars that we plan to do. Okay, about myself quickly, as Ariel mentioned, so I have 3+ years of farming and agricultural industry experience as part of my family business, and 2+ years of manufacturing industry business in USA, and 15 years of tertiary and service industries in Australia and a few other different industry space. So I would like to start with the disclaimer, because I know sometimes when we talk over the virtual platform, sometimes things could be easily misunderstood. So I'd like to make it clear. Point number 1, I will try my best to communicate and express my personal thoughts, some of my 20+ years of knowledge, by giving some examples and by sharing some real-time examples. And note number 2 is everyone's situation is different. So you have to you can listen to the ideas and the stories and the thoughts, then you can use it on your real time based on your personal experience, because everybody's decision or making will be different. So you have to do your own decision making and do your research, please. I wish you all the best in all the future endeavors that you do. And some thoughts I make during this presentation are my personal thoughts. And if something is not clear, please do come back to me, and please do ask during the question and answer session. And last, which is the 1st of August, I have got a very few questions which I did not answer, which I tried to cover on this presentation, because I have answered those questions, which some of them asked for the future on the technology and so on. So I have covered this one. Okay, without much delay, let's go to the topic straight away. Okay, this is going to be my agenda for the next 30 to 40 minutes. I'll try to give an example. I'll try to make it more interesting as possible so that you will not feel the time, because 30 to 40 minutes, I'd like to give various examples so that you can actually see how I am able to get it and how we are able to achieve some of the details. So the types of industries, how the technology has affected, how it will affect in the future, and how to find your value proposition, in particular the young graduates who are new to the industry, and mentors and mentee, which is not new, which is the guru, and future opportunities and global economy, and how to implement, and innovation, and how to create a better tomorrow, and future webinars. Okay, this first 5 slides is just a repetition of the last week's slide, just in case if somebody is new to this seminar, so that they'll be able to connect with this. So I'll possibly spend 1 minute on the next 5 slides. So I started my career, and then of course I learned more about the mechanics. I'm a chemical engineer by profession, so in mechanics I learned from my grandfather, from a wall clock similar to this. then my part-time job in a photocopier machine where I learned about mechanics of a photocopier machine. Then I went into the industry, worked as a chemical engineer. Then I eventually started managing. I managed over 7 research labs, which are worth over $3.5 to $4 million, or a little bit more, in RMIT University. So this is my full circle of the holistic approach. And the point I would like to mention here on this slide is sharpen your skill always and observe and learn continuously. Okay, slide number 2, learn the basics, have a strong foundation. I discussed a few examples last time when I discussed. So whatever the field you are in, whether you are in agriculture or video mixing or engineering or coding, make sure that you have a good, strong foundation. So that's my suggestion. And this is the workforce age group that I discussed last time, where the blue areas are the thing which Ariel correctly mentioned is where the age group is going to be between 25 to 54. So these blue areas are in the greater position of finding the increased age group demography. So this one I will discuss today, the future opportunities, which I mentioned the last time that I will present, and also unique value proposition. This is something I discussed. State Bank of India, ICICI Bank, Tata, Axis Bank, HCL, and Wipro. So once you see this image, then you will be able to know what is actually the value proposition of this company. So something similar, when people see you or hire you or work with you, they should know your value proposition. So I will help you how to fine tune this. And this is something which I discussed on 1st of August, volunteering, which I done quite a bit of volunteering reasonably for 10 hours per week from 2000 till 2020. But now I stopped doing it slowly because I spend less hours, maybe 2 to 3 hours per week instead of 10 hours. So this is just to give you an idea if somebody missed the part 1 series. And this is the slide which I said that we live in a digitized world. So study relevant topics and keep yourself updated. So this is my first phone, purchased in 2001 and 2019, which is my current phone still. So those days there was no Facebook. So if somebody was talking about Facebook and all this thing that happened between 2007 and 2010, so that's what all this platform has happened. So I will give an example how it will affect our lives in the future in terms of technology. So this is the digital clock. That's a smartwatch. It is this is the analog and the digital or the mechanical clock. And this is more of cloud computing, where we are storing all the documents onto the servers and on the internet, where there is a need for paper technology is limited. So this is what I covered in part 1, so that it will give you a continuation of the story or the theme of what I discussed, so that you can connect the dots, because it's 4 weeks usually. It's better to give a refresh. So that's the reason I given a quick refresh. Okay, safety will be one of the key things across the world post-COVID. So I will also share where you will find a lot of opportunities where people will talk more about safety, in particular the post-COVID world, where you can sharpen your skills on safety aspects, so that you'll be able to in a better position to lead a group or maybe become part of a group. So this is the final slide of the first. The 1st of August, where I discussed different types of industries. Primary industry, which is predominantly that is agriculture, fisheries, forestry, mining, where you're converting the natural resources like mining or farming into primary products like rice or coal or steel. That's primary industry. And secondary industry, you convert a raw material, whether it is a timber, make it into a house, or if it is a thread, you make it into a fabric or a suit. So that's more secondary product, where you're manufacturing the goods, where this is how this industry will be affected. I will share here. And tertiary industry, where we hair salons, all these are tertiary sectors, and quaternary and quinary sectors. So I will give an example of how the technology will affect or has already affected these industry, and how the change in the employment is slowly expecting us to become upskilled all the time. Or manufacturing sectors, which is a secondary industry. 1.4, work in agriculture, which is a primary industry. So this is a primary industry, this is a secondary industry, and this is the tertiary industry. So 1.7, you can see the number here because the 800, 1.4 service industry where everyone is working. So the majority of population of us is working more into service industry, whether it is a call center or reception in a restaurant or yeah, services like engineering, consultancy, and so on. So advancements in technology. So this one you must have heard of this or remember the first industrial revolution where we have mechanized steam power, water power, James Watt and steam engine. If you just remember from the past history or the other information that you already know. So the first revolution. The second revolution is where the mass production line happened, like the Ford manufacturing motor company where the assembly line happened. So if you could make one, they will make multiple exactly similar through the assembly line and other similar concepts. Third, computer and automation, which already happened. Now we are in the fourth, which is a cyber physical space, which is machines and machines are communicating to each other. So we have actually crossed and we are somewhere here actually heading towards this side. So first, second, third, and fourth, and advancement in technology, how they will change the industries. That's what I'm going to cover. I'll try to slow it down and give an example. And during the question time, please do ask if I run a little bit faster or if you want me to explain a bit more. Now, primary industry, as you can see, the gentleman here, this is before the mechanization. Now, after the mechanization or mechanics has come in, but there is something you will note here is the work is different, but the person still stays the same. So he will need to be upskilled to operate this tractor or the machine. So he will need to be upskilled to know how this tractor works. So the jobs will be there, but the job will need to be upskilled. So which means that the person who is in here, he need to be educated, he need to be trained, he need to be upskilled. So the industries will always go through the change. So those change, the best way to manage these through upskilling or upgrading yourself. Now, primary industry, again, mining. As I said before, there could be a mining truck or a vehicle driver. So this is one area. But remember, I'll play this video for 30 seconds. So you will see this particular truck used in mining industry, which is by Caterpillar Mining Company, is a driverless truck. So basically, there is no driver. It basically runs automatically through a control. But of course, someone will be controlling it. So it's again, as you can connect the dots between how this upskilling helps to get into position. So I'll play for 30 seconds. As you can see on the previous video, there is no truck driver. So it's automated through a control panel from another side of the mining site. Now, the secondary industry, another example, textile industry. My family comes from weaving and textile, so I kind of understand. So this is more manual. So this is more power loom. So this is more mechanized. So if somebody is going to operate this, they need to be trained and upskilled. Now that's a secondary industry. Again, car manufacturing. That's a Ford manufacturing line in 1990s or 1920s. So this is 2015. So where this is all completely automated. So you can see that it's always been changing, but there is someone else operating these robots. So there is a need for it. Now again, welding industry. Again, now this is being robotic welding. Now this is again, I'll play for 30 seconds. This is another automated Tesla manufacturing unit where you will see very minimum amount of human input into some of the processes. So that's the secondary industry which we covered. So this is tertiary industry, which is if I could get your attention again, this is again 1.7 billion, because this is 800, 1.4, 1.7. So the majority of the population in the world is in this sector, is helping different. So for example, it could be a center where it's an IT company or a reception or a jewelry shop or a teacher or possibly service again provider, call center. So this is the center, but there is one thing you will know here between this industry is here you will not be liaising with the customer directly, and here also you will not be liaising with the customer directly, but here you're actually liaising with the customer. So you'll be liaising with the customer or talking to the customer. These people will be talking to the customer at the reception, and they will all be talking to the customer. So when you're talking to the customer, there is something else which machines doesn't have, but we humans have, is the emotional intelligence. So we can actually connect with the others in this space very easily. So this is where most of the job market will be hoping to increase in the near future. Now, types of intelligence. The first type, again, the assisted types of intelligence, where we used to have maps, where we can look at the maps and we can look at the direction where we are going and so on. But now it's GPS. So GPS is assisted intelligence, so which is repetitive. So if I'm going to a place from, say, one point to another point, so I can look at the map, then I need to look at the map again. So now it is not necessary because the GPS would have the history, so we can take it. So the repetitive and the time-consuming task provided as its assisted intelligence. So that's assisted intelligence, step number one, which we have already crossed because this is step number one. And step number two is augmented intelligence, which we are currently in at the moment, which is augmented intelligence. So we used to have a taxi where we need to call, we need to go wave hands, and they'll be coming and picking us up. But now it's different. Now it's Uber and Ola, everything else in the mobile app, which means that there is a human and the machine connection. So the humans and machines collaborate to make the decision. So if I'm going to place an order for Ola or Uber, I need to know what time I'm going to choose. Then the software will find what is the nearest car available and so on. So this is something which is something I'd like to know is the augmented intelligence. Muruganandam?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me? Because I see a few.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now, sorry to interrupt. Hopefully it doesn't affect your flow. So the types of intelligence, augmented intelligence, which we discussed, and the types of intelligence, autonomous intelligence, which is the third segment, which is the self-driving vehicle, where we can make a decision, but now the machines will make the decisions for us. But this is the future. But let's discuss type number two, because that's where we are currently in at the moment, because the augmented intelligence is where we are currently working together and making decisions with the machines or artificial intelligence space. So these are the number of apps that you can see on a mobile phone. So the same apps in 2005, most of them are not there. In 2020, we see all the applications, which is the mobile application. So which is the humans, machines collaborate to make decisions. Now, if you could just take it, because my father used to say this to me, is as soon as the email and the text messages and the phone call come in, it basically disrupted the postal and other industries. Basically, he said, look, my mobile phone is like a post office in my pocket. He used to say that. So that's something interesting because he see from his perspective. So imagine the types of industries these disrupted. So for example, there could be a tape recorder or CD player and so on, but now there is Spotify. And now we want to communicate with anyone in the world, we have WhatsApp, so Facebook, and there are too many applications. So this is good, but at the same time, we have to be constantly upskilling and learning continuously. So there are some opportunities, but excuse me, there are some challenges also. Now, the future of these industries, as you might know, if someone is working in the call center or if someone has got a business in call center, the future call center would be or may be affected. So there could be machines calling automatically, which is the automated calling system. And also now we are discussing something similar is instead of a face-to-face meeting, we are all having this virtual conversation now. So this is the future of this industry that will get affected. Now, if you have time for a minute, maybe for 30 seconds, I will just pause for 30 seconds. If you could just make a note of what will be the impact of technology in your current position. So if you're working as a lecturer or a professor or an IT consultant or a mechanical engineer or something, what will be the impact of this technology in your current position that you think? So you may need to explore that. So possibly that will give you an idea, okay, in 5 years time, the technology, if you are going to manage a call center, you should possibly focus on doing something else a bit more so that you are ready for the future. And if you're a teacher or a lecturer or a professor, then you know that there's going to be more online virtual teaching and so on will be in the future. So we need to constantly upskill. So you can just write, if you have some time, is what will be the impact of technology in your current role? And if you are looking for a work opportunities, if you're a new graduate from the college or the universities, please check if you're ready to enter the workforce and where you can contribute. So whether you have the skills so that you can just get into the position and start working straight away. So see if you're already in the position, how it will affect or impact, I may say not affect, impact. And if you are entering into the position, see what are the skill sets you need to take further or upskill yourself. So that's about the future of the industry. So we talked about primary industry, secondary industry, and tertiary industry. And we talked about types of intelligence, and we talked about future of this industry space. Now, give an example. If you can draw the conclusion that you think is relevant to your field. Assume that you are an electronics or data analytics or a computer or an IT engineer. Whatever we do now in terms of anything, whether it's the weather or agriculture or any industry, it's all converted to computer data. So computer data is something which, if someone is a data analyst, or if you're good in statistics or mathematics or modeling, then these topics would be of interest to you. So this is just to give you a flavor of what is my value proposition. So if you think that, look, during my studies, I did very good in my final year project on statistics. So I could analyze the data. If there are a lot of data, I can see the connection between the data. You may need to consider that, because that is your value proposition. That could possibly be a value proposition, because you need to constantly sharpen your value proposition that I will discuss in the next many slides. Is find data analytics, finding patterns, big data, and metadata is something which you need to consider. So this is a space. If you're into the IT industry, just give an example. So if you're a mechanical engineer, you need to see what is the impact that will make on industry, whether you have the skills, and you'll see which one or where you will fit in. Or if you're a civil engineer, you'll see where this will affect the real estate or the building or construction industry, and how you'll get yourself ready for the future. So these are something which you can connect from your personal perspective. Now, some survey reports for you. This is something which I would like to draw your attention, please, because I know it's a bit scattered, but I would like to draw your attention to this one first. This is a survey report, but the first thing is that there are four dot points here, but the future looks brighter. That I can tell you, the future looks brighter, and it is very hopeful, because this is the information from which is from a report. When do you think about the future of the world of work is likely to affect you? You say, look, they're excited. 37% I see a world full of possibility. 36% is very confident. I see that I'll be successful. But there is 18% who says they are worried. I'm nervous about what the future holds. You don't need to be, because you just need to move into this layer, and I'll try to share my thoughts how you can alleviate or reduce your worry so that you can actually be more successful. I'll share some of my personal thoughts you can apply in your real life. And some people are not interested, because I tend to think that that's too far ahead. So that's their thought. So you can also think about the future as well. Now, this is another thing I would like to get your attention is workers with skills in demand will prosper. Please note, workers with skills in demand will prosper, and those with outdated skills will be abandoned. Say, for example, if someone is not catching up or upskilling, the possibility of the worker or the job opportunity for him or her will be less. And the other thing is 23% say doing a job makes it a difference is most important to their career. So you have to find or do a job that makes a difference in what you do. That's something I'd like to say. And the last report or the quote says is technological trends will destroy many jobs, but at the same time also create numerous jobs. So this one I have given examples. I have given an example from farming industry, weaving industry, automation industry and call center and so on. So this will reduce some job, but at the same time, it will also create some jobs. So you need to be constantly looking for it. Now, India 2030, this is something which is in line with what Eril has said, is 2019 data. So this is GDP per capita and population and share of urban population and jobs, 1% growth and median age and the workforce. Now, this we already know. Let's go to 2030, $1 trillion GDP, and a GDP per capita will increase to $5,625, which means that there is a huge market there is a lot of consumers who are looking for a good quality service. So that again comes back to the service industry. So if someone is able to give a good service, you get a business. So population, again, 1.5 billion, and jobs created is 1 million and 1% of the GDP, and the average, the median age is 31.4. So this is India 2030. And I can see some people raising hands, so please wait, and I will definitely try to answer your questions. And if I'm not audible, you can let me know. Now, this one I said to you before, if you are managing a call center, or if you're working in a call center, or if you are working or managing a call center, then you may need to know where are we heading. So you may need to study more about the sensors and the servers, and the VoIP gateway coding, predictive dialer server, because the machines will automatically dial for you. So they will try to see if the number is busy, and if the caller is engaged, or if there is a number has changed. So the machines will actually automatically dial for you. So if you are managing a team of call center, then you would know how the future will go. Then you may need to learn more about this technology, which is a network, a router switch, IP network, and so on. So this is try to see where the future is heading and try to learn and upskill in that area. So this is just to give an example. Okay, this is something I would like to share or get your attention, please, is a mentor is someone who always allows you to see the hope inside yourself. This is very, very important. That mentor could be your mother or father or parents or someone in your family or friends, or outside in work or somewhere. So that you should always have a couple of mentors in different areas where you have a question, you go ask them and ask for, okay, how do I deal with this? How do I discuss this? So that's something I would like to let you know. And also you might say, okay, when will the mentor appear? You say, look, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So if you know that there is a problem, you're looking forward to it. That always happens, because I can give a few examples in the next few slides, how it worked for me. So the point on this slide is a mentor is someone who allows you to see the hope in yourself. If you think that, look, I'm not feeling hopeful about the future, you may need to find a mentor. And if you think that when you will get your mentor, when you're ready, and when you're ready to be coached, or when you're ready to be taught, the teacher will appear. Now, this was my vision board for my professional and voluntary life, or voluntary part of life, I must say. Is in 2005 and 2019, I have completed over 100 industry projects, a little bit more than that. So this is something which I had on my vision board when I started this position in 2005 and 6. So this was my vision board. So when I started this in 2006, I had a vision board saying I should complete at least, or I'd say I wouldn't complete, I would say I would like to serve at least 100 industry and complete those projects. So I think I covered over 200 now. So this number is conservative number. And this is something which is on my vision board, was in 2001 was I would like to engage with at least 2,000 industries in different parts of the world. So I have engaged with over 2,000 industries. So this is my vision board, which I already had. So it's good to have a vision board in terms of personal, professional life, and so on. So it'll give you motivated and connect with the right people. And in line with what others are doing is I try to create employment opportunity in some form. I have managed to get over maybe 50 to around 50, I must say, or over 50 graduate and postgraduate student in full-time or part-time position. So these mainly are done through this work. So this working with the industry, get the trust, and also engaging with the industry through seminars and webinars and so on. So that way I created opportunity to those employment opportunities, if you like. So this is the two of the examples of the 100 projects. So this is the industry standard, which is used in Victoria at the moment. So this is one of the 100 projects or 200 projects. And this is another project which we have, where we have invented a product as part of this the vision board. Now, a mentor is someone who always allows you to see the hope in yourself. So during my school days, my parents, of course, school teachers and college teachers, I always have, if I was in, when I first joined my year one or the first year, I try to have a couple of seniors, I go ask them for questions and so on. So he's my mentor, who is my PhD supervisor. So we have completed a database of material selection, which I will discuss at the final presentation, how it may help you. So we have created a free database, which is for mostly used by or could be used for industries. So at the moment, it is still a work in progress, but I completed this project. So this is something which I completed with my mentor, and he's my other mentor whom I currently work with, Mr. Brian, where we are writing a book series on It's My Time. So this is something which we are currently working on. So, and also my other mentors, Professor Jaga and Professor Srini, where we have worked in the water area with Australia and Asia. So this is connecting. So this is a book that arises from this concept. And this is with my other mentor in my former workplace. There we have commissioned over 7 research labs. So it's good to have a mentor, because mentor will help you to fast track. Because sometimes if you think that, look, I can learn by myself, I don't need anyone else's help, that's okay, but our time is all limited. So it is good to have a mentor where you can at least know how to do this in a better way. So you'll save some time, I think. So that's my personal opinion. So you can fast track quite a few things, and you can do better things if you're able to engage with the mentor. Now here's my other mentor. I do, that's me. I normally go talk to him every month or so. So he was my first manager in 2005. Now he is retired, but I still in touch with him. So I go talk to him, look, how can we do this? How can I do that? So I always ask him some questions. So his principle to me was always this: keep whatever you want to do, keep it simple. Don't complicate things. So this is what his advice to me in 2005. So even if I do any project, I still go back to him and check with him, look, is it okay? Can I do this? Because technology is hard, because I don't want to say that I did everything in an easy way. It was hard for me to keep myself upskilled, but I try to get the path is, for example, simplicity is the key to brilliance. So that's something Tony Skinner emphasized this to me. So he's my other guru or mentor. So if someone is in science or engineering, they should be able to pick up this equation. This is a complex equation called, of course, it's a beautiful equation, but it looks complex, which is Navier-Stokes equation, which is used in chemical engineering and unit operations and civil engineering, somewhere closer to fluid movement. But if you look into it, but this is actually F equal to ma, it can be simplified. So you can divide this so that you can actually see how this complex equation can be brought into a simple form. But of course, these equations are too different. This is Newton's law. This is Navier-Stokes equation. But still, you could connect the dots and keep it simple. So yeah, it's good to have a mentor who can teach you the small things that will make a big impact in your life. Now, pay it forward. What I'm doing now here is exactly what I'm doing this year. So someone taught me some of these techniques. So I'm actually sharing some of my thoughts with you all. So so I give my best to share some of my thoughts, because I'm still running, but I'm sharing some of my thoughts when you think that, look, these are the good things. So if you think that there are some good things, pick it up, and you can do better than me. So that's my suggestion. And if you keep this paid forward as a concept, which means that if I help 3 people, so paying it forward is a good thing always. Now, this is something which I mentioned. It is your value proposition, your CV or resume, which I'll share a few examples. So this is something which I discussed that I will discuss in this part 2. So I passed on the knowledge to him. And I try to again work with the all sets of work groups. So this was in India. So yeah, so this is passing on my knowledge to others is something which I always like. And these are the other parts, which mean that just to give you 3 slides to see how you will find your value proposition, because when you're not sure what your value proposition is, you try to go talk to different people, you approach them, you do different things. So he's the Frank, who is a mentor, and when I was running some seminars, hosting some seminars and discussing and talking, liaising with different people, then you will know what you are good at it. So that is your value proposition. And that will not happen over time, because that will take some time. This one, working with Frank for 10 to 15 years, helped me to find the good value proposition. So it's a staged approach. So it will not come sometimes overnight. So it's a continuous process. Now, this is some conferences in Dubai, and this is an academic from USA where I'm working on a water research project. And this is again some volunteer role. This is something I learned from this young student. So it's always finding value proposition is a staged approach. So take one step at a time and you will find it. Now, with my mentor, Mr. Brian, so we started this meet or a coffee, and we are writing a series of books, which is this. So we're writing a series of 6 books. So we have completed this book, and he's working mostly on this book. So we are currently working on a series of 6 books. So if you are available, or if you have a chance to look into it, I don't want to promote anything what I do, but if you have some time, you can look into our Facebook. It's My Time book series. So these are the 2 books on Amazon. It's on offer if you'd like to download it on Kindle. Now, finding your value proposition. How do you find it? So friends, family members, your group members or team or your mentor, but always remember, all of you in this particular platform who is listening to this right now, including those who are trying to ask some questions, is everyone is good in doing something. That I strongly believe it. We are good in doing something. Everyone is good in doing something. So you can build that layer by layer and find the proposition, but you need to align your contacts and have a good vision board. So that's simple. So if you think that, look, I'm not good at something, that's not right, because you should be good in doing something, but that is your value proposition. That is one of your value propositions, but you need to work harder to see what you're good at it. Now, technology, future potential opportunities, which I said I will briefly discuss. So the industries that will affect, I will share in the next slide. Security, which is very important. Retail space, society, healthcare, home, energy, mobility. So this is more generic. So if I just to give you a few areas, these are the areas which I think the future opportunities will always be there, or will always need a good upskilling. So which is the banking and payment methods. Because people spend money, the money has to go through a system, which is a platform, which is a banking and payment technique. Cybersecurity, security over the internet is also a key issue. Supply chain management. You remember the GDP I mentioned, which everybody is going into the service industry. So this is basically a service industry, supply chain management. Network and IoT, insurance, which is we want to take care of ourselves through insurance and other policies. Transport and ride sharing, this is something coming up. Cloud storage, this is a very key area, which I'm also noticing it. Donation, contribution, because there'll be crowdsourcing and funding, public benefits, volunteering. Healthcare, health is very important because people will always try to keep that health as one of the key areas. Manufacturing, remember the car manufacturing, textile, and which I discussed. Energy management, music industry, because we all want to have entertainment industry, so retail, real estate. So these are the key areas where there will always be some workforce available in this area. So if you're a civil engineer, you know that there is a real estate space where you know that there is a market heading. And so if you're in video or photography or music or retail industry, so that's your area there. So you can find your value proposition and find a suitable work opportunities and sharpen your skills. Now, this is a little bit too many images, but I would like to get your attention, please. Let's say if you're an expert in internet-related field, you have to constantly update, because if some of you remember, that's a DSL connection which we used to have, which is no longer there. And now this one, if you are on internet, you should be able to know what this is. So this is HTTPS, which is a secure server, and you should know how an internet works. So what are all the details behind it? So everything about the internet and the documents and the application going through you should always learn those areas. If you say, look, all right, look, I only work in this area, I'm not going to learn this. That's where people make mistake. That's where most of them try to focus only. Focusing one area is good, but always constantly focus and upgrade those learning as you go. So you can't say, look, from tomorrow I'm not going to learn anything, because whatever I need to learn for my work I have learned. No, it's because it's as you I have given plenty of example. It's a constantly changing world. But I think I may not be right in all industry, but some industries may be okay, but some industries you may need to update or upskill yourself, in particular the technology. I can see someone raising hands, so please hold your question. So if I not said something correct, and we can certainly discuss. So please bear with me. So if you are an expert in an industry or the internet related area, try to make sure that you are covering the basics. For example, if you are in IT, so you should know the TCP/IP, the toolset layer, second layer. So you should know each and every layer of the internet, how it works. So that's something in that way you know you are good in something. So coding and programming would be very common in the future. So this is something which I picked up from some, I think Pinterest or some other media. So yeah, just to try to know how each and every platform works. So if you're good in Ruby on Rails, then you say what are the things you need to go and which are the platform is using. So Google, YouTube, and so on. So I'm not an expert in IT, but I know some coding and programming. So with that knowledge, I would possibly share my thought that coding and programming would be very common in the future. That's what I see. Because the machines will be making decisions. So when you want to interact with the machines, you need to interact in the machine language, which is through programming and coding. So that's simple. So I've given a few examples on assisted and augmented and autonomous intelligence, if you remember the apps. So the mobile apps is all the coding and programming. Now, to know the details, this is something which is I tell my children to, or tell my friends to, is, so this is something which we use in the calculator often. So that's log, that's natural log. Now, many of you know that's log to the base 10, that's natural log to the base E. But try to find, if you find something interesting, what is the real-time application in the real world? So where would we use log? Where would we use natural log? So in that way, you can increase your curiosity, and you can constantly see, and you will find when you start asking more questions, you will try to find a closed loop of learning. So you will know how things are connected. Now, in technology, investment is very rapid, but there is also something else which we are also picking up, is there are too many terminologies. So, so public key, private key. So if you are good in explaining things to a layman person, I wouldn't say layman person, possibly as someone who is not very thorough in the topic, so you should be able to say in a very simple term. So that's something which I would like to also suggest you to pick up, is try to take a complex thing and simplify it so that someone can understand very easily. So you might say, why I need to constantly upskill? So if I take your attention, please, for a minute, here, if I just ask you to read this for a minute, a bar of iron cost $5. Made into a horseshoe, it's worth $12. Made into a needle, it's worth $3,500. You can convert into Indian rupees and so on, because I took this, so I hope that's okay. So please pardon me for using the dollar sign, just in case if it was confusing. Now, the made into the balance spring for watches, it's worth 300,000. So a bar of iron costs $5, which is this, and made into horseshoe, it's worth $12. And made into needles, it's worth $3,500, which is right here. Or it could be anything. Balance spring, which is 300,000. So the numbers are different, but the thing is, you see, it's the product is different. So the same way, so you need to constantly upskill, and the fine tuning is very, very important. Now, COVID, I said also there will be a lot of opportunities post-COVID in terms of safety, because when this safe business will become as usual with the international logistics or trade or flight and so on, the safety will be something which will be very, very important. So safety area where everyone will think that they are following the rules, but sometimes it's good to know the guidelines and explain to others so that others will follow too. So, and also the mental health is something which you need to constantly focus on. So if you're a friend or if you're a family member, if they're not feeling well, just make sure they're okay, because mental health symptoms since COVID-19 is also, we are more emotionally exhausted. There is increased sadness in day-to-day life. We get more irritable. We are humans at the end of the day and feel generally more confused, increased insomnia, and increased anger. So post-COVID, safety and mental well-being is something. If there is a safety course offered around for training or something, attend it if it is suitable, and try to upskill in that area so that you know that you are good in the post-COVID area where you can take some projects or some leadership. Now, this is something I work on, this area. This is currently, I'm working on a couple of projects in India on the water. So my suggestion to you all is think twice before wasting water, because I travel to some parts of the world. I know water will be something which is something will be scarcity in the future. So if you think that you are a researcher, want to do something, try to focus on the basic things which the human needs. If you think that you have extra times of water, air, energy, food, health, house or real estate. So this is something which I focus on. And also we are creating, so if I just get your attention, point number one, water pollution, food production, organic waste, because every organic waste need to be treated, electronic waste, because there are a lot of electronics, so electronic waste, something has to be looked into too. So I will quickly, I am conscious of time. So I think I'll wrap it up in 5 to 10 minutes. So some suggestions where opportunities will be, there will be a stronger evolution of entrepreneurial evolution over the next 10 years. So India, the number of cities will increase. So this is something which I see. There will be a lot of new projects coming up. So India, as again, is the third largest economy at this stage. So connectivity. In social media, before social media, you need to talk to at least 6 persons to reach another person in the world. But now in the social media age, the number has 6 degrees and reduced to 2.3 or 2 to 3 maybe. But the greater connectivity also comes with opportunities and challenges. So for example, you there on the participant and me, there's only one person, so Ariel. So if you're able to connect with Ariel, you can connect me. So that way it's easier. So the connectivity is very, very easier. But connectivity also comes with opportunities and challenges. I will tell you where the challenges is. So please, if that's okay, I'll share. Is mutual learning is also the key. In 2021, India will have 850 million smartphone users and 930 million internet subscribers. So if you're not in this technology, if you're on this technology, you try to learn mutually. So that's something I'd like to share. So I'll quickly wrap it up. So this is something I'd like to say is, be respectful of others, respect others' privacy. For example, if you are talking to your friends or team member, if they're on the photo, it's good to have a little chat with them or ask them before posting their photo and so on. This is just some of my personal thoughts, if you like. So personal is an important thing. Not all wanted to have their photos online. So respect others' privacy in the social media age. And just in case some of them post in social media doesn't mean that you're not doing big things. So privacy is everything. So it depends, because some people are trying to keep it quiet. Some people would like to talk. So yeah, respect others' privacy also in social media age. That's my personal thought. Now, the world has enough for everyone's need, not for everyone's greed, which is my favorite quote. I got 3 more quotes. I think I'll be finished there. So please bear with me. So the world has enough for everyone's need, not for everyone's greed, as per Mahatma Gandhi said. Procrastination, which is delaying things. We do because of the few things which I picked up from the internet, is napping, snacks, social media, which is a very big thing where we got addicted to this, and little work. So try to focus on things that you think is relevant for you. So these are some of the procrastination means delay. So social media is one of the main things, I think. Social media also connect with people, but that's also taking our time. Now, the other thing is we hardly use pen and pencil these days. So which means that if you're not used to pen and pencil, we are using Microsoft Word to type letter and so on. When we forget some skills, bringing back to the writing skill will become also very challenged. So this is how he felt when he writing a letter after a long time. I think I'm finished nearly. My favorite course. Again, this is a friendly reminder that we will get only a limited time on this earth. Today is a good day to do something great. So do that, please, if you're able to. Remember the pay it forward. Try to help others, and in that way, it's a loop. And also, I think it's possible for ordinary people to be people to choose to be extraordinary. That said, this is the vision board, which you can download a template. And this is something I'd like to get your attention. If you bear with me for a second, is don't downgrade your dream just to fit your reality, upgrade your connection to match your destiny. I'm nearly finished. I know I can see 5 people are raising their hands, just finishing. Okay, this is the future seminar that I would like to offer with the Access Global IIT, which I will share. Now, thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time. And I know that I have gone to nearly 1 hour. So thank you everyone for listening. 155 participants. So I hope I made some reasonable sharing knowledge so through this platform. And I thank you everyone. And of course, this will be on video on YouTube. So please ask some questions. So this is part 1. This is part 2. I covered these topics. And thanks to Ariel Moran and his colleagues at Access Global IIT. And thank you, every one of you, as I discussed. And these are the references of the photos and images and the other documentation which I have covered. And these are something which I'd like to propose if someone is interested. So you can talk to Mr. Ariel Moran and his team. So if you are keen to write a winning research proposal or business proposal, we can offer a short seminar or a webinar. Training on writing research proposal and technical reports. You can help materials analysis in food industry. If you're working in industry, you can help, and any interesting topic that you think you'd like to learn related to technology and how to upskill yourself. So 1 to 6, you can let Mr. Ariel Moran and his team know, and I'll be in touch with him, and possibly I'll try to share my thoughts as we go. And I know I've taken 10 minutes more, and yeah, thank you, and thank you everyone for listening. And yeah, the best way to predict the future is to create it. Questions?
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for a very informative session today, actually. I think a lot of people enjoying the session. Okay. I think we can move for the question and answer session, sir.
Yes, please.
Yeah, okay. So first question, Abid Ali, a professor of mechanical engineering. In which area I will guide my student sustain after COVID?
Good question. I think the manufacturing is something which India is leading in some areas. So I think possibly Ariel would be in a better position to add that question because he is actually in that core area. You would like to add something, Ariel?
Yeah, sure. See, actually, after COVID situation, a lot of companies, they have a lot of new opportunities are opening there, actually, not only in India, all over the world, new opportunities are every day it will be creating, and companies are created. So automation robotics is a big challenge in upcoming days for the manpower point. So we don't have a manpower last to 3 to 5 years also. We don't have a much more manpower because of the lack of technical knowledge. So as a mechanical engineer, so definitely people, you should inform to your students, robotics and automation is a big role play for the job opportunities. For the job market, definitely as a mechanical engineer, electrical engineer or EC department, people, if you want to work with any new technology, so robotics, automation and artificial intelligence is the what we say, we want to learn without further discussion. You want to learn means automation robotics is my point actually.
Okay. In addition to what Mr. Ariel said, is my thought is the coding and programming, and also constantly work with the industry bodies in particular, like mechanical association, mechanical industries, or Society of Manufacturing Engineers in India, and they would be able to liaise with the industries and really see where the industry is heading, because every industry is different. So if I can say from Australian industry perspective, but some industries in India are actually getting into manufacturing. So that's something which I would like to answer for the question. So yeah, if you would like to connect with me and ask, you're welcome to contact me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to accept your invite if you send me a note, please.
And second question, sir, from Sundaresan, Hyderabad.
Yeah.
Dr. Sundaresan, Hyderabad. Please guide me on the mentoring aspect of management students in the COVID-19 to enable them to overcome the present job scenario.
Overcome the present job. I think time management is something very important, because before COVID, I was working, say, 9 to 5 or 9 to 6, but post COVID, I had to work a little bit longer hours. So I'm actually working a little bit more because the time is stretched. So the productivity has to be increased, which means that when we were doing something, when we are going outside, when we have a lot of clients, when we're meeting clients, if the number of client meeting has reduced, where the number of queries and the number of decision making is reduced, you need to, there is some more thing which has to be increased, is we need to maximize our time. So if we put more time to getting all the queries answered, that's something which I'd like to say is, maybe we need to put extra hours and work collectively as a team. And most importantly, that I personally say is, create a team which is reliable and trustworthy, and they're upskilled. For example, if you're able to do something very quickly through a mobile application or a software, it's better to learn the software instead of doing it the hard way. So if you think that, look, I can do things better in Excel, ask someone to learn the Excel. So if they think, look, they need to learn a new software, it's better to learn the software so you can do things faster. So post-COVID will be, things will be different, things will be new. The connectivity will still be there, but the productivity has to increase, which means that we need to work a little bit longer hours, I believe.
Okay. So, Mr. Kundan Kumar Jha. Sir, can you answer the question, sir? Mr. Kundan Kumar? Mr. Kundan Kumar?
That's okay. I'm reading the question. What is the role of robots in defense system? Role of future robots in IT field? Yeah, I think the robots will take some time. I think there is one thing which we haven't done, which is the autonomous intelligence. We haven't actually gone that far, so we are still in the early stage. I think for us to realize the complete robot technology in any field, it'll take maybe at least 3 to 4 years, because we are just stepping out from that space, because there are a lot of lack of regulations. Because when it, say for example, if a human is driving a car, the insurance policy will cover. But if the machine is driving a car, the insurance policy, we don't have a clear policies and insurance and some certain guidelines around it. So if a machine is driving a car, if the machine hit another car, or by mistake something happened, who is liable? Is the owner of the machine or the machine? So there are a little bit complications there. So there are some parts which the regulation is still need to be addressed. So yeah, it will take some time, I believe. So yeah, it'll be at least 3 to 4 years. But yeah, keep watching this space. And automation only in developed industry, not developed in agriculture. Develop your humanoid agriculture, not only for call center and serving hotel. No, that is true, because there are some places where we would like to do the agriculture. I mean, the machines cannot do this because the farmers or something, they can't afford it. But if the land become larger, that is true. Automation only in there. But there are certain areas, because as I said before, I have come from the farming background, so I kind of some understanding. So basically, the bull and the ox they're all replaced by tractors. So that is simple example. So not a heavy machineries for a complete replacement for human. No, that will not happen, because I think that's for more for large scale production. And let me read the question. I'm reading the question. Reduce farmer effort is important. Okay, thank you, everyone. Look, if I have forgotten or not answered your question, please send the question to Mr. Eril, and I'm sure he will come back to me. Yeah, so thanks for listening, and you will see this on YouTube or the Facebook Live. And yeah, so my name is Muthu, and you can connect through Eril's team. And if you are interested in attending any of the future webinars or seminars, feel free to contact me. And I think I forgot to mention my last name, Muthu Panirselvam. That's my full name. I'm sure you'll be seeing it on my video. I think I'm a bit thirsty, so I'll have some water if that's okay.
Okay, no problem.
Yep.
Okay. So some other questions also there. If relevant questions, we also discuss about. Mr. Have time, sir? Or
yeah, sure. Please go for it.
So please guide us how to write an executive summary to set up a new incubation center. I don't know how it relevant to you. Is it?
Yeah, sure. I can answer the question. Executive summary is very, very important. Is because when we write a report, executive summary is the complete information about what you do. For example, I can give from my personal example. So if you're writing a 100-page report, the first thing normally the reviewer will looking for is what is the information that the business is offering? Why is the business different? And what is the significance of the business? For example, if you are mentioning about a particular business proposal, you need to say what is the profit is going to make, what is the impact on the environment, what is the impact on the community and the society, and job creation, and the value addition to the local community, and how many people it will employ, and what is the current process, and how your new business will change the process so that you get a better yield and it is good for the local economy, and how it will be connected to the in terms of environment or pollution and so on. If you say that in the first executive summary in 250 words, which is reasonably good. So you need to, it will not happen in one day. It maybe you need to write a couple of times, review it, and then review it again, ask someone else, one of your team member, to read it, then change it. Then once you finalize it, then you will fine tune your executive summary, because you know your business more than anybody else. So it is better, I'm sure you can write a good executive summary. So repeating what I said, just in case if you missed it, try to mention why the business is important, what is the significance of the business, and the value, and also how it is going to add value to the local community, and in terms of reducing pollution, and how it is going to increase the productivity, job creation, and so on. So try to put quantitative number, like figures of rupees, percentage increase in employment, or percentage reduction. So numbers is always good in executive summary.
Okay, good. And the second question is, sir, which course is better for mechanical engineering students?
I think the future would be more into anything to do with the first slide, which I mentioned, is the robotics and the automation, and some parts, because you see, remember, some parts are still there, because I could say from certain perspective, but I lived in India, so I also traveled to India, so I kind of know, is it will not be a complete switch off of the conventional topic which you have been studying, like the IC engines and combustion engine. IC engines will still be there, because internal combustion will still be there, at least for the next 10-15 years. So the electric cars doesn't have IC engines, but there are some change. So you need to know how you need to learn both the IC engines and also the future, which is the electric cars, where it doesn't have the IC engines, which is the internal combustion engine. So where it means that you don't need to know about the air fuel ratio, which is 1:9, because this is not applicable for electric cars. So you need to know both and find the balance. And when the industry completely switched over to electric cars, which is automated car, which will take at least 10-15 years, as I said before, because of the lack of regulations and guidelines, including the insurance. So it'll take some time, but the answer to your question is study the topic which is currently relevant, but also 5 years from ahead of it would be again robotics, automation, where some industries can never be replaced by machines. For something which I think someone has asked the question is the teaching side of it, because the teaching side is good, but still there are some automated instructors and so on. But teacher would be knowing each and every student differently. So coming back to the question is, some mechanics and the robotics and manufacturing, which is a primary and secondary industry, which will be affected. Tertiary industry, I don't see anything much at this stage. And I wish that the post-COVID period employment scenario is expected to be cordial. I hope so. And can the replacement of a teacher by robots, as I said before, not near future? I don't see that. But again, that's only my suggestion. And request for employment laws related webinars, please. Look, I don't know about the employment laws and guidelines, something to do about the materials and overview, because I would like to commit to something which I can answer. So that question, I don't know, I'm sorry. You may need to possibly talk to someone locally. And I'm reading the questions here. And again, thank you for everyone listening. I know I said I'll discuss only for 40 minutes. Maybe I was a bit excited, so I a bit explained in detail so that there is no miscommunication.
Hey, I think some people want to ask the question. Mr. Reddy Raja, Naveen? Yeah, have a question?
Sir, I had a question that we are seeing a lot of automated drivings and big data and machine learning, such things, robotics and automation.
Okay.
I felt that what it leads to humans, what would be the end of the technology, and how it benefits or distracts us from that.
I think we always, I think that is too far ahead, which is called, the people call it as singularity, which is the human can completely, human intelligence will be something similar to machine intelligence, so they'll become equal. So if I make a decision, if the machine make the decision, so they'll be same, and that level of intelligence is, I think it's called singularity, but that's long way to go. At this stage, we can't undo, because as I said before, if you say, look, I don't want to work with the machine, it's not possible, because if you turn around, starting from your computer, your mobile phone, your stapler, your printer, everything is machine. So everything is connected. Actually, they talk to each other more than we humans talk to. So I think if we humans work together stronger and keep our bonding and the connection together stronger, I think we'll always be better position. So because if the computer is, if my mobile phone is talking to the printer, I want to print something, and if I'm not talking to someone next to me, that's unfair. So that's why I'm saying, so we need to be more connected than the machine. So I think that way we will be leading a better life.
Yes, sir. I am from an engineering background, and I aim to go for a business MBA to study.
Okay.
Can you prefer some steps to follow that for a better future in MBA? How should I move forward in the engineering field?
Okay, I think that again, it's a generic question, but I'll try to answer. I think that possibly would be, if you go to your, if you have already finished your engineering, and if you're already in workforce, possibly talk to someone in your area of expertise, like a mentor. But if you have already started doing MBA, then keep continuing. Again, that depends on situation to situation. The answer, a simple answer to your question would be, MBA is basically manage things. So when you're doing managing, you will be less technical. If you think that you are very good in technical, but your MBA will add value, that will really become value to you, because you will have the technical side of it and also management side of it. So that's where the MBA comes in. If you think that, look, I would like to be less technical, more managerial, more people skill, then that's where the MBA will come in. So the repeat again, the answer to your question is, it depends on whether you already got a job or you're actually going into a job, and also
I'm a final year, sir. I am final year mechanical. I'm planning for that soon. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now again, there are a few things. I think the ILRE, and there are a few institutes. where they offer the MBA exams. I think it's good to study those books, possibly talk to someone who is already graduated the final year, who has already done MBA from your college, and
Okay.
possibly talk to him and communicate with him. That's what I did when I was doing it. So contact them if they completed MBA, saying, look, what is the area, how is the field, and how is the market, so you'll know. But it is good to have, but I must also say that if you do MBA, if you think that, look, that's what you're heading into, possibly think. But if you think that, look, I studied 4 years mechanical engineering, I'd like to work for a couple of years in mechanical engineering, possibly you should try that too, because the technical knowledge is also very, very important, because that one you can learn when you are very new to the field.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Did I answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Truly.
Thank you, Naveen. And I think someone Vivo, right? Okay. Mr. Ramesh Kumar asking there. So in agriculture sector, which role area will take main helpful?
What was the question again?
Sir, in agriculture sector, which role area will
Agriculture
take main
sector,
helpful? Yeah.
mass production, I think. Mass
Okay.
production. So if you're able to mass produce something, in particular organic, that will be very, because if you're able to, because there is a 1.3 billion people, and if there is mass production of, even if it's a tomato or brinjal or rice or paddy, if someone is able to come with a new model where they can mass produce, that's where the future is.
Okay.
When someone asks, being a faculty management, I suggest the MBA would always add value to engineer, inspector. Yeah, that's fine. I think he's yeah. So yeah, I think someone mentioned, yeah. Okay, any other questions? Is artificial intelligence or machine learning used in robotics? Machine learning, okay. I think there are two different concepts, because the artificial intelligence is more and machine learning is different. Maybe the question is, I couldn't understand the question clearly.
No. Actually, they little bit confused. Sono, the artificial intelligence is different. Machine learning is a different way to use the robotics. AI is the advance of robotics and automation. Okay, so machine learning is a part of artificial intelligence actually. So is a little bit. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, right. So anybody want to ask the question? Guys, please ask me a question.
Okay, Santosh, please share your knowledge. Give your hand on who for developing activities. I think I discussed that one. According to Industry 4, which is new robotics research, I think Axis Global Automation is doing a good job in that area, so which I can understand. Yeah, so please let Ariel and team know if you're interested in any topic, and we'll come back with a better topic, and we'll keep working together.
So, have any questions, please, guys? Please ask the question, or otherwise we close the session. I think one more question is there. Okay. Sir, machine learning is different from mechanical engineering and CSC. Okay, sir, machine learning is different from mechanical engineering and CSC.
CNC.
CSC, computer science.
Computer science. Okay. I think it differ, because I think machine learning from mechanical engineering would be more about the mechanics part of it, not how because it's more hardware and the software. So the tool side of it, where the mechanical engineering comes in, but the software side of it will be the computer science come in. But in the future, I think those will combine, the technology will combine. So the mechanical engineer is expected to write code or programming, and also the programmer is allowed to know what is the hardware behind it. So it's a combination of both hardware and software.
Okay. So I think Will be end of the session, I think.
Okay.
Okay. So thank you, sir. I think most of all questions were answered, I think. So
Okay.
guys, thank you so much. I think it's a wonderful session for coming back for the Why Not series. I know you are very busy and I appreciate the time that you have taken to address our participant for a very relevant topic, especially in these trying times. So
Yeah.
we are sure that most of our audience members will learn from these insights and become innovator of the future. So definitely we hope. I thank your audience and participants, students and industry peoples and lecturers for your active participation. In case you have missed it, please check out our first session, Honorable Mr. Muthu sir on the YouTube channel. So episode 8. The link will be provided in the description of box for your easy reference. So I am pleased to announce that it will be a wonderful session, sir. Thank you so much being part of with us. I think the continuous session we have planned upcoming days actually. So soon we have announcements also from Australia itself. We do some webinar programs compulsory we plan for the continuous program. So
Sure.
it will be very helpful for all the students. Please, anybody have any kind of doubts and clarifications, or if you want to any query, please subscribe our channel and note our number 9841841842 and 9841620621. Please subscribe our channel AGIIT Industrial Campus and subscribe our uh, another channel Access Global Automation and like our YouTube, Facebook page and Instagram page AGIIT Industrial Campus. So upcoming days we can plan a new programs of Ask Me also. I think if you have any questions about any kind of industrial relevant questions, technology relevant questions, or career relevant questions, please ask me. The program is Ask Me. So soon we can get you touch with you. So have a wonderful evening, guys. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, Muthu sir, for
You're
the great evening.
welcome.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.